The man is the head, but the woman is the neck. And the neck can make the head move whatever way she wants. And it determines which way the head will turn, because a wise husband will listen to a wise wife. He will.
So Erika Kirk actually had 2 boyfriends within the 5 years before meeting Charlie Kirk. So why lie about this? Interesting. But there's also another boyfriend. His name is Tyler Massey, and she dated him in 2015. Here we have them doing Fashion Week in Phoenix together.
This newly surfaced video shows Erika Kirk admitting on camera exactly what everyone secretly suspected. She calls herself the neck. Charlie, just the head. And in her own words, the neck controls which way the head turns. She was already married to Charlie when she said this, and she could barely hide her excitement. But here's the real question. Was Erika just a social climber using men for status and money? Or was she placed in Charlie's life to control him for someone else's agenda?
When I was living in New York, the types of relationships that I would have that were work-related were very transactional. In LA, it was like, hey, nice to meet you, but what are you gonna do for me? One yes closer to being on the silver screen, like.
Listen to how she describes her past relationships. Transactional. In New York, in LA. Nice to meet you, but what can you do for me? That's not a wife, that's a strategist. And Charlie? Charlie was just her final upgrade.
My name is Erika Kirk. I am married to the unbelievable husband of mine, Charles Kirk. Charlie. So last time I was here, I was a Franzwe. Now I upgraded my last name to a Kirk.
I upgraded my last name to Kirk. Who says that? Even as a joke, that's not love. That's a branding decision. And watch how casually she admits her past relationships were purely transactional.
We're very transactional. Nice to meet you, do business, go on.
Erika has always claimed she never wanted to be in the public eye, but this clip proves otherwise. She was a fame-obsessed, aspiring actress looking for her big break and using relationships as stepping stones. Every man she met was an opportunity. Every relationship, a transaction.
One of my favorite movies is My Big Fat Greek Wedding. And so there's a point in the movie where the mom and the daughter are talking about this one moment before she's about to get married, and she's trying to convince the father to do something that he does not want to do. The mom, she's like, don't worry. She's like, the man is the head, but the woman is the neck. And the neck can make the head move whatever way she wants.
She quotes her favorite movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding. The man is the head, but the woman is the neck. And the neck can make the head move wherever she wants. That's not romance, that's a strategic playbook. But watch what happens the moment she realizes she admitted too much.
And I just was like, exactly. Because if you picture the physical body, and it's not meant to be manipulative. Some people are like, oh, I'll move the head wherever I want because I'm going to manipulate my husband. That has nothing to do with it. If you picture the physical body, you can't move your head without your neck. You can't. Your head is supported by your whole body. And it determines which way the head will turn, because a wise husband will listen to a wise wife.
She panics, immediately defensive. It's not meant to be manipulative, she says, right after describing manipulation. If this were anyone else, you might ignore it. But this is the same Erika who swore she didn't date anyone for 5 years before Charlie. Then the internet found Kat Phillips and Josh Harrelson and Joe Engham and Tyler Massey. Not 5 years of prayer, 5 years of parties, actors, athletes, and one goal: upward mobility.
We as the American people deserve to have every Epstein file released with no redactions whatsoever, period. And we the American people ran on transparency. We deserve to see the entire client list. Every document the government has regarding the Epstein files, we the American people should have on an easy to access website immediately in a very, very quick fashion. I'm pushing for that both privately and publicly, just so you know.
Now, let's talk about Charlie. In his final years, he focused on two things: releasing the unredacted Epstein files and stopping the Iran war. Publicly and privately, he pushed. We, the American people, deserve every Epstein file, no redactions. That was Charlie's mission.
Lies that Epstein, with his little friend Ghislaine and Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, who was obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies, that there was something else going on here. Epstein was not some sort of whiz-kid hedge fund manager. Epstein was playing a part. Epstein was a LARPer. Epstein was cast for a specific role, and he played it really well. It's nothing new that if you're in the intel agencies, you want to try and get as much blackmail on powerful people as possible.
And Charlie went further than most. He said Epstein wasn't just a financier, he was a lurer, an asset, cast for a specific role by intelligence agencies. Charlie understood that blackmail on powerful people is the oldest game in the book, and he was willing to expose it. But Erika? Complete silence.
And he writes right there with you, Charlie, we have to shut these maniacs down. Not only is the Republic depending on it, but the citizens of Israel are too. And Charlie said, thank you, I totally agree. Brett said, and by the way, I think the president needs us to keep the pressure on. The neocons are very vocal and admittedly powerful, but the public does not want war, especially not to be dragged into one by a belligerent Israeli regime. Charlie responds and says, I know, we need to do better. I'm doing all I can. Truly, I was in the White House all day fighting for America. Same tomorrow. Okay? These were Charlie's perspectives regarding the Iranian war. That is how Charlie felt about neocons. He felt like they were maniacs.
Then came Iran. June 2025. Charlie went to the White House to beg the Trump administration not to start a war. He called neocons maniacs. He said, I'm doing all I can truly. Same tomorrow. He'd been warning since 2019. No ground war with Iran. End the endless, senseless wars. In April 2025, still fighting. In June, he polled his followers. 90% said no to war. But the neocons got their war anyway. Charlie is gone. Only 2% of the Epstein files have been released, and the Iran war has begun. Erika says she's carrying Charlie's legacy, but she won't touch either of these issues. The two fights her husband died fighting. She admitted it herself. Transactional relationships. She admitted it herself. The neck controls the head. So if Charlie was just the head, who was really moving him? And more importantly, after he was gone, who was the neck still answering to? Charlie Kirk died exposing two truths, one about Epstein, one about war. Today, both those truths are buried, and the woman who called herself his neck won't even speak their names. The question isn't whether she loved him. The question is, who was she working for?